Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. AllPowers reached out to us. They saw a couple other videos that we did with regards to portable power devices and solar generators, and they wanted us to take a look at what they have here. You may be familiar with AllPowers if you've looked at some of their solar panels. They've been doing this since 2012. I knew about their solar panels, but I did not know that they actually did solar generators or portable power devices. So one of the things I will say is, and I'm going to kind of keep this generic, but I think a lot of people out there know that you probably need to put together a power source in case that we have a grid failure. Because I think it's not if, but when we have a grid failure. Maybe short term, maybe long term, and I'm going to leave it at that. But I think that people out there that are looking at something like this kind of know that they need to put together something to have a power source set up so that they can power their home, power their devices. You know, a couple different things that you want to make sure is you've got a power plan and you've got a water plan, and I think that's probably two very important things. And we're going to talk about how this will power your home along with solar, and I'm going to even say along with gas generator. And I'll show you how they kind of all work together, because I think, you know, there's some people out there that are like all electric and get on the, you know, electric train, and that you can't use gas and you can't use diesel. But honestly, that's very, very difficult, guys. I'm going to show you that it's even difficult when you're using portable power devices along with solar and along with a generator to kind of power your home the way that it should be powered. But you certainly can do this. This is a lot better than powering with only gas or powering with only solar. So I think they work really well together, and I'm going to show you how they'll work like that over a 24-hour period, and how you can run your house, how you can charge this thing up with solar panels, how you can charge it back up with your generator, and how you can do that and save money on gas with your generator, or even save money on your electrical bill even when the grid's not down. So let's get into it. Let's open it up, kind of take a look at it and see what this one here does. All right, so the first thing I notice is a nice little bag here. Let's take a look. There's probably power cord or something in there, some connectors. So it looks like we've got MC4 connectors to an XC60. Probably for the solar panels to connect up to our device. And then it looks like we've got our plug that we can plug our charger into the wall and charge the thing, or into the generator. Here's the manual. And here is the device. But this is everything that we have up front here. Kind of covers. It's a good little feature to keep everything covered up, to keep moisture, dust, dirt, anything out of it. So first of all, and like all of these, it comes not fully charged. And it's one of the things that you might want to look at if you're storing something for long periods of time. They tell you don't charge the battery fully, and then store it to about 70%, 80% even. But this is what it comes charged at. So here's all your inlets back here. Typically these will come with a little power brick, I guess, or whatever I would say, but this one here is right into the machine itself. So it's built in inside. Here's your XT60 plug, here's your overload protection, and here's your extra battery connector. All right, I've got the generator. I'm going to plug the generator up to the AllPowers solar generator, and I'm going to charge it to show you how fast that you can charge this thing, or actually how many watts you can put in here from just a small generator. All right, we'll just start up the generator here. And I'll plug it in. And we can see right now we are putting in 500 watts about. All right, so right now we're going over to the app, and I'm going to show this app later on. and exactly how we're doing this, but it shows right now we're putting in 400 watts, 500 watts average. So I'm going to switch it now over into, and this is in mute mode, so I'm going to switch it over to standard mode. You can hear the generator kicked up. Now we're putting in 1,000 watts. And now I'm going to switch it into fast mode. And in fast mode, you can see that we're putting in over 1,500 watts. So with this generator, this device would charge in a little over an hour, 1,500 watts. The capacity is about 2,000 watt hours, so it'll be like just over an hour and it'll charge completely. Now if you're charging with solar, it'll add an additional 1,000 in there. Well, it maxes out at 2,500. So in this situation, it'll add an additional 950 or 925, whatever it's doing. I'm going to switch it back to mute mode. All right. So that is it for right now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to set up the solar array and show you how we lay everything out that AllPowers sent us. They sent us a 600 watt solar, portable solar panels, and we're going to lay that out and show you how you can charge the device just with the solar panels. So AllPowers sent us these as part of the portable power station. So you've got the portable power station, but in conjunction with that, we've got solar panels that makes it a portable solar generator. So we're getting our power from these solar panels, and what I wanted to do is kind of show you how to unfold them, how to set them up, because I think a lot of people think that you just take solar panels, throw them out in the sun, and they're going to produce a lot of electricity. You got to have them set up the right way. And then as the sun screams across the sky, you've got to kind of adjust them to be able to get the amount of solar that you're going to get out of there. So this is 600 watts, and our power station that we've got from AllPowers has 2,000, a little over 2,000 watts. So with 600 watts going in, if we can get the maximum amount out, over 4 hours we can charge the thing. But that's kind of how you want to size your system so that you can recharge your portable power station in one day. So for example, if you have 2,000 watt hours inside of your portable power station and you've got a 100 watt panel, if you run it down, it's not going to charge in one day. So what you want to do is divide the watt hours that you have by about 5, because you generally have about 5 good hours of solar during the day that you could capture the majority of your solar. So what I want to do is show you what they sent us and show you how to set it up. So like I said, it's 600 watts. It's actually 6 100 watt panels inside of here. It's really convenient because it folds up in a nice footprint like this that you can store it on your boat. It's not a permanent fixture though. It's not something that you can kind of keep out in the sun all the time. It will probably deteriorate. I assume that. It's something that you kind of put up to charge your system periodically, or to take it different places that you can charge when it's needed. Like if you have a blackout, you can take your solar panels, you can kind of put them outside. So anyway, I'm just going to open them up, show you what we got, show you how to unfold them. I have had them unfolded before. The neat little thing is they've got little places here that you can hook carabiner clips or tie them to. Just flip it around. I'm going to show you. Really neat. You can keep all your cables and different things inside of here. But they've got, you know, the connectors that go to here. They've got different connectors that'll go to your portable power station inside of here. You've got other cables that you can set up if you want to set another set with them in parallel or in series. And then they have a bunch of carabiners in here. Like I said, you can connect this and set it up on a permanent structure so that it sets facing the sun. You're going to see I've got 2 other solar panels that I have set up already, and I'm going to place this over it just to get it the right angle. So how this unfolds. So there you go. It's all unfolded. It's pretty big when it's unfolded. So what I wanted to show is a couple different things. If it's just kind of set out flat, I want to show how much power is going in. And then if we set it up the proper way, then I want to show how much power is going in. As I mentioned before, we're going to have a link in the description below to be able to purchase the portable power station. But also you can purchase these portable solar panels separately, or you can purchase the R2500 with these solar panels in a package. They've got 600 watts, they've got 400 watts, and I think they have 100 watt panels. But anyway, in the description, I'm going to have it all laid out here. The thing that I would say about the 400 watt panels, they come with feet behind them to be able to set them up on an angle like this. These don't. They're bigger. They're 600 watts. Now we're going to use these on the boat, so I thought that this would be fine. We'd be able to set them on top of our bimini, and we'd be able to charge our portable power station like that. It kind of depends on what you're wanting to do with regards to the solar panels. So maybe look at them before you purchase them and see which one's going to fit your situation a little better. All right, so I want you to notice how I've got them laid out here. They're just laid out flat. I haven't set them up in any angle to the sun at all, just basically laid out flat. But I've got them set up so that there's no shading on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple different things. I'm going to show you set up like this. I'm going to hook it up to the portable power station, see how much you get in just from laying them out with no regard to which angle you're setting them at. And then I'm going to shade one of the panels. And what you're going to see, or what I suspect you're going to see, is you're going to see a big decrease in the amount of productivity you're going to get from them just by one of the panels being shaded, or maybe even a corner of one of the panels being shaded. So it's something to kind of be aware of when you're setting up your solar array, making sure that you set them up in a place that it's not shaded, because if it's even just a little bit shaded, it's going to reduce the capability of your panels by a lot more than you think. So AllPowers actually sends you this neat little pouch as well to keep all your cords inside of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up these connectors so that I can connect the panels to the portable power station. So they've got a connector here that I can connect into the portable power station, and then they have MC4 connectors right here that I can connect directly to the panels, and you can't mess it up. They've got, you know, this cannot attach here, so it only attaches one way. You can't mess it up. And this is a really simple setup. Basically, I'm just taking these panels, hooking it right into the portable power station, no problem. And it's good because it's 600 watts in here. With this portable power station, you're able to input up to 1,000 watts. So if you had two of these, you could connect two of these in series or in parallel, whatever way you want to connect them. But you could connect both of these together and connect them directly up to the portable power station and be able to charge it even faster. It inputs up to 2,500 watts. The solar input is going to allow you to input up to 1,000 watts, and then you also have your AC input that I think combined will allow you to put in 2,500. So if you're charging it with fast charge and you've got solar connected up to it, you'll be able to put in your 1,500 or 1,700 watts, whatever's coming in from your AC on fast charge, and then an additional to solar. So you'll be able to put in the 2,500. So you could charge it in less than an hour, technically. All right, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the panels directly to the portable power station right here. Just take the cord that was provided, and it can only be connected one way as well. Connect it up, and that is it. So if we come over here, now you can see it's putting in 338 watts, which is not bad at all for just being basically strewn out on the ground haphazardly. So if you were getting 350 for 5 hours, you would charge this thing up completely as well. So if you were getting 350, you'd get about 1,750 watts over 5 hours, which will almost completely charge this thing. It'd be pretty close. So anyway, just putting it out on the ground. So what I do want to show now is I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in the best angle that we can set it up, and then see what kind of power we can get out of there at that point. So we have it set up here. You can see how it's kind of fold over a little bit. I'm going to hold it. And in a situation like this, what we would do is we would probably hook the carabiners up to it and tie it up to get it in the best possible situation. But this is going to show you how much more we can get if we angle it directly to the sun as best we can. Okay, so go look at how much it is. How much is it doing?
576.
All right, so 576. That's really, really good from 600 watts of panels. And I'll show you a little trick that I use. You can take a can, any can at all, and what you want to do is sit it down and get the angle of the sun so that the can is directly, the shadow of the sun is directly on top of the can. That way it's pointed in the perfect spot. You can actually buy a little thing that has a little dot in it, makes a shadow, but Planters peanuts, or a can of soup, or can of pop, soda, anything like that. But what you're doing, Amy, is good. You've got a shadow right there. I want to show people. So show right now. You're standing there. You're just shading. It's not a lot of shade. How much is the difference now?
It's down to 360.
So there you go. Just show what you're shadowing right there. Actually, when you were down to 360, you were bent over.
Yeah.
So this one here was not shaded. Only this one was shaded. So even if you have one panel shaded, it dropped from, what was it, 550? Well, let's look again, see what it is. 569, and then stay right there. I'm just going to shade one of these panels. I'm just going to put my arm over like this. Okay.
414.
Now show what I'm shading. Isn't this amazing? Like, I am not shading, I'm only shading one panel, and I'm only shading really a couple parts of this one panel. But you can see just the shading makes a huge difference. So anyway, guys, I hope you really like what we showed you here with this here panel and the R2500 portable power station. You can see that with regards to 550 watts, you can charge it up easily in one day. Just make sure that you have the right angle to the sun, and make sure you have a place that's set up so that there's no shading, like a tree or something. We come out here because in our backyard at this time of day, there's shading with a tree, which it wouldn't work. So that's kind of letting you know. Now on the boat, it's a little bit different. We're out on anchor a lot of the times. There's really nothing around us unless we're being shaded by our mast or a spreader or some of the shrouds or something like that. But I try and move it around so there's literally no shading at all. So this will give you an idea of how fast you can charge this back up. So I think that with a portable power station like this that's 2,500 watts, you've got a realistic expectation, if you manage your power, that you could make it through the day in a blackout situation with something like this. I think, you know, you could make it through the night. In the morning when things kind of start back up, making coffee, different things like that, you put your solar panels out, charge it back up during the day, and then during the evening, I think you're going to run the 2,500 down, because I think a lot of people don't realize how much or how little power there is inside of a battery. I think just even a heater, you know, is taking out 1,000 watts an hour, and you only have basically 2,000 usable watts inside of here. You have to manage the power directly. But if you drain that power source down and then you plug in your generator, your gas generator, you let it fast charge, you can charge that in an hour, and then it can take you through the night. So, you know, you're charging up with solar in the day, you're charging up with a generator at night. This is something that can kind of, you know, help through a blackout. And I think a lot of people might be asking, okay, well, if I'm using a generator anyway, then what's the point of using something like this? First of all, it's very quiet. It doesn't use gas. And if you can use your generator for 2 hours a day versus 12 hours a day, I think most people would agree that that's going to be a huge benefit. You're not going to have to go out for gas as often, and you're going to be able to limit your gas generator to only 2 hours a day, which is a big deal. All right, so I showed you how to unfold them. Now I'm going to show you how to fold them back up. I think so. And that's it. And then on here kind of has all the information about the solar panels itself. So it's good information to kind of know what voltage they are, because when you're hooking up to your portable power station, if you're not using this one, you might have a smaller one. You've got limitations on the portable power stations itself. So make sure these numbers work within your limitations on there. And that's it. So this is a time lapse of our battery discharge test. It didn't come out that well because you couldn't really see the screen that well, and the watt meter was inverted, so you couldn't really see that. So I'm going to go over what it did. It took about an hour and 26 minutes. We started off with 2016 watt hours inside of the R2500, and we pulled out 1650 watt hours. So if we take 1650 divided by 2016, we get an 82% efficiency for the inverter. That's kind of a roundabout way to do it because, you know, the inverter is pulling power, the screen is doing power, so it's not exact, but that is the best way that I could figure out how to do it. The unit itself weighs 64 pounds, so it being an 82% efficiency, I think that's really good. Anything above 80% efficiency is acceptable. Good morning. Today I'm going to test this AllPowers 2500. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by kind of explaining what a portable power source or a portable power generator, whatever you refer to it as, how it works. Because I think there's a lot of people out there that think they're going to just trade in their gas generator, get a electric portable power source, hook it up to a 100-watt panel, and power their whole house and have no problem. Not our viewers. Our viewers have watched all the different videos that we've done on previous ones, and they're educated and they know, and they're just here looking to find what is the perfect one to buy. But for our viewers, let's please just give them a little bit of patience while I explain exactly what this will do. So a 2500 refers to the inverter in there. And the inverter, what it does is it takes DC power, which is battery power, which is stored, and turns it into AC power. Anything that you've got that plugs in, you know, that it requires AC power as opposed to DC power, that's what the inverter does. And one of the things I would say is you want to look for pure sine wave. Now, some things don't require pure sine waves, and this is referring to the inverter itself. You might see out there modified sine wave, or what is the other word? Sinusdodal. I'm going to have to look that up. We can put that above. But anyway, there's different ones out there, and you'll see that they are cheaper. So you might be thinking, well, if they're cheaper, I'll just use them. Some specific electronics won't work with that. Like, for example, some newer TVs, you can damage the electronics, or your computers or cell phones and stuff that you plug into it. You know, it may not work with it, and it may damage it. So you want to look for a pure sine wave. So that's the inverter. So one of the things that we're going to do is I'm going to plug in some of the different devices, and I'll show you how long it lasts, because that's one of the big things. Like, for example, a heater, I can already tell you when you plug in a heater in here, it's going to take a lot of wattage and it's going to drain this down quickly. Maybe a lot of people don't know how quickly and basically how long it'll take to drain this thing down. So let's kind of get into it. I've got it turned on here. I'm going to, well, let's go over the different things first. We've got some USB outputs right here. So we've got USB-C outputs, 100 watts each, right here, where you can plug your cell phones into. They're quick charging. And down here we have 4 USB-A outputs. We've got 18 watts on this side, we've got 12 watts on this side, and to turn them on, we just turn on the button right here. And that turns on your USB outputs. We can turn that off. And then over here, we've got 12 volt. This is a cigarette style plug that you can plug any type of 12-volt system into, and it'll run from there. And then also you've got a couple different outlets here. These are 5.5 millimeters. You can plug in here. They're 10 amp, and to turn them on, we just push here. It just runs as per normal. Nothing crazy about that. Same thing down here, our AC output. We have two 20 amp outlets on this side, two 20 amp outlets on this side. We also have an outlet here that will run your RV. It's a 20 amp outlet, but it's got a style plug that you can plug into your RV, or even on a boat you can plug it into shore power. It's not 30 amp, it's 20 amp, so it's not going to run all the things on there, but you can certainly hook it up that way. And to turn these on, we just push and hold here, and then your AC outlets come on. Another thing I wanted to say is that the AllPowers 2500 is on sale now for $999, and then also if you look below, you'll see a discount code that we have for AllPowers. So if you're thinking about buying one of these, check out the discount code, click on that link, and you'll get a better deal than you can get just going through the website. So right now we're charging the R2500. I've got it hooked into my AC outlet. You can see it's charging at 300 and somewhere around 300 watts. It kind of bounces around a little bit. This is in the mute setting, and you can find that. I'm going to scroll through here and I'll show you exactly when you connect to it via Bluetooth what you can do. So you've got a mute setting inside of here that will charge at about 350 to 400 watts. Then you can also change it to standard, which is about 700 to 725 watts, and then we can do fast charge at 1525 watts. So what I'll do is I'll turn on this, I'll connect to Bluetooth, and I'll kind of show you how this works. All right, so from here what we want to do is we want to go to the AllPowers app. We want to go to Bluetooth device. We'll go to next step. So we're connected here. It shows how much input's going in. It shows AC, DC. I've got AC turned on because it's charging right now. But what we need to do is we need to go up here, over to the next, and you can see the first thing that we've got is we've got mute mode here. Mute mode is going to charge at around 300, 350. Then we can switch to standard mode. On the display on here, it's increasing to about 725 to 750 watts. And actually, if I go back, you can see that here. Its input now is 727, 750. And then also what I'll do is I'll go to fast mode. And in fast mode, when we go back here, you'll see it'll increase up to 1500 watts. Then also what you can do is you can charge with solar in addition to this. So you could have it going in fast mode and getting about 1500, but your max input is 2500. So if you're getting 1500 from here, you would get about 1000 watts from solar. But you can see that with both of it, you could charge very quickly. Right now, it's going to be about an hour, so you could charge this in about 30 minutes. All right, so the AllPowers 2500 has a 2500 inverter, and we've got an assortment of tools here that we're going to test and show how much we can pull from here and when it trips out. So basically the 2500 inverter means that it'll be able to use a sustained power of 2500 watts, and it has a peak of up to 4000 watts. So what that means is that if you have like maybe a refrigerator that's plugged in there and you're running right around 2000 watts, and then all of a sudden it pops up over just as the compressor kicks on and goes back down, then the unit will continue to run. But if you plug something in, let's just say you're running 2000 watts, you plug something in that has another 1000 watt load on it and it pops it up over 2500, it's going to shut down. So I'm going to show you both of those different things. It'll trip out and then you have to reset it. So let's take a look. Let's turn it on. So you can see here that it's 100% charged. This shows the input. So if you're charging either by your wall outlet, your AC outlet, or solar, it'll show here. And then your output is right here. So anything that you're taking out of there with something plugged in. So let's take a look. What I've got here also is I've got a watt meter, so it shows exactly how much is pulling out of there. We can show you that for each of the individual devices. The only thing with this is how this is set up. This is going to be upside down. So you may not be able to see it. You just have to look at it upside down. I guess you have to take my word for it. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I want to try and trip this thing. So we're at 1600 watts. The inverter in here can carry 2500 watts. So it probably won't trip out right at 2500 watts, but it might at 26 or 27, something like that. So we'll take a look. So we're running this heater right now. We've got this hot plate on right now, and we're pulling about 1600 watts. I'm going to turn on another heater. You can kind of see the theme here. I'm using all heaters because that's what pulls the most power. So let's put this on high. Let's put this on high. Let's see where we are. 1700. I'm going to put this on high. Okay, so we're at 2300. So we're close because it runs at 2500, or it'll trip out at 2500. Let's see if I've got enough outlets to be able to trip it. Let's see. But the whole point is that it's running at 2500. Now, let's set expectations, because I think that's one of the things that people look at here when they're getting a power supply or a portable power supply, is that they think they can run everything. And we can. We got a heater, we got a hot plate, we got another heater, but we've only got 35 minutes to run this before we have to charge it back up again. So once again, I guess the problem with batteries is the storage power, not really that it won't run everything, is that it's difficult to store that much power for a long period of time. All right, so this hopefully will trip it. So we're at 2350 watts. And there you go, it tripped out. So it tripped out. So let's turn everything off. So we were at 2350. And I want to do this because I want to show you what this thing draws. So let's turn it off. Let's go back here. Reset. Turn it back on. All right, so it's up and running again. We've got 80% power. There's no drawn. I've taken everything else. And I want to show you where at 2350, right? Was it 2350? Turn back on our AC outlet. So that's about 2700. We were at 2350 plus 350, and it tripped it out. So that's what we would expect. The inverter inside of here will handle 2500. It'll handle up to 4000 in a short period of time. Like I said, it's not, when it's a short period of time, it doesn't mean a minute or 2 minutes. It's basically enough time for a compressor to kick on, get the fridge up and running, and go back to normal use. And then as long as you're running under 2500, the unit will continue to run. If it stays above 2500 for too long, it's going to trip out. So that's basically what we have with regards to the AllPowers 2500. It does exactly what it says it's going to do. Let's see if we can run it just a little bit above 2500, if I have enough equipment here to do it. So next thing is, let's plug in our biggest stuff first. Let's plug in all of our heaters. Hot plate. All right, let's turn on the AC outlets and everything come back up. I've got a hot plate on. It's the only thing I've got on. And it's doing 600 watts. We're at full power here. Let's turn on this one on 1300 watts to see where we are. So that's 17. Let's turn on max power. That gets us to 18. If I turn this one on high, it's going to put us at about 2900. So it's going to trip it. Let's do this. Okay, so we are right at 2500, which is the maximum it says it'll do. And I haven't tested this, so, you know, this might be a Geraldo moment here. But I love products that do better than they say. So it says 2500. So we're at 24. This is going to put it above 2500. And let's just see if it runs. Okay, so it is above 2500 now, but it's saying that it's not. I think probably what it's doing is it's changing the voltage to keep it there. But I want to keep it on like this to show you that it doesn't cut out. So it's running fine here. So we can see that this is running at 2420 right now. When I plug this in, this is 60 watts. So it's going to take it right to the max. And you can see it's running at 2480. So what this is to kind of show you is that it's a 2500 watt inverter. It'll run at 2500 watts until the battery's dead, as long as you don't go over 2500 watts. So you can see the amount of power that we have plugged in. We have a heater here that takes 1500 watts, another heater here that takes about 1200 watts, a hot plate here that runs about 650 watts, and a little light bulb. The reason why I'm showing you this so that you can see how important it is to manage power. I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize when you're living in a house. I had no idea until I lived on a boat how much anything ran. Like I didn't know if this ran at 1500 watts or 15,000 watts, to be quite honest with you. But when you're living off of batteries and you're living off of solar, it's really important to know so that you can manage your power properly. So for example, if I'm on here and I want everything to run, I know that right now, if I've got everything running here and I plug something else into it, it's going to trip the thing out. And the battery is not going to last very long at all. And it's putting a lot of strain on this battery. So I want to either unplug one of these big heaters and plug something in. Like for example, if I wanted to run my grinder, which we've shown is running about 350 watts, as soon as I turn this on with everything else on, it's going to trip the thing out. Okay, so right now we've got the big boy here. So this, I'm trying to run it right at 2500 and then just put it over the top. This is running right at 1060 watts. When I turn this on, I think it's going to be about 1400. So that should put us really, really close. So I'm on hot. 2500. Okay, so we're running right at the edge. Hopefully you can hear me with this thing running. We're running right at 2500 watts. I'm going to turn this on. It's going to put us at 2560. Okay, and it trips out. So there you go. You can run it at 2500 watts. When you go above 2500 watts, it's going to trip it back out. Now it's reset. We can turn it back on. So it's running again. I think the moral of the story is that your wife can't use a hairdryer. That's what we found out. But the overall impression here is it says that the inverter runs at 2500 watts, and it does. So we can run it at 2500 watts continuously, no problem. Now your battery is going to draw down quickly, but that's normal. But when you go over 2500 watts, the inverter is going to trip out in there. So overall, really good. 2500 watts is a really good inverter. Like I said earlier, it's a pure sine wave, so it's going to handle all your delicate electronics as well. So I think this is all the testing that I'm going to do. Just a little recap. I have done the battery discharge, so I showed you how much battery is in here and how much you can draw it down to. We've shown that the inverter at 2500 watts will take 2500 watts. Anything over that will trip it out. We've shown you how long it takes to charge it in through the app. You have 3 different settings in there: mute, standard, and fast charge. And then we've also shown you how you can charge it with solar, and you can charge it with solar and with AC the same time. So you can charge this thing up in less than an hour. And that's really important, especially when you're having a blackout situation and you want to turn on your generator basically to charge this up. What I envision doing is having it plugged in, running everything. When it runs down, if it's not able to be charged with solar, now what I can do is I can turn on my generator for 1 hour. So I'm using 1 hour worth of gas with my generator to charge this back up, and I continue to run my house. So basically what I'm able to do is I'm able to use a gas generator a lot less, and I'm able to use a lot less in gas. And that's one of the things that we've noticed, is that sometimes it becomes difficult to be able to get gas or propane when you have an outage, because everybody is trying to get gas at the same time. And lots of times they're not getting any supply in. So everybody's going out buying it for their generator. And if you don't have a different backup or if you need a lot of gas. For example, the last time when we had an outage and we were running our generator, we were running our generator 12 to 14 hours a day. So if you're looking at 12 to 14 hours running on a generator, you're looking at about 12 to 14 gallons of gas per day. So you need a pretty big stockpile, and you need to be able to go out and get it. What we found is we had to drive over an hour to be able to go get gas. So using the portable power generator along with a gas generator is going to be able to run your house a lot more efficiently, and you don't have to go and have a big stockpile of gas or propane. So I think overall this works really well as a house backup. It also works really well if you have a camper or if you have a camp that you're going to. You can take this with you. It's very portable. It's not light by any means, but it's no problem to pull it around. You can also, another way that I didn't say you can charge it, you can also charge it with your vehicle. So it has the ability that you can plug into your cigarette lighter in your vehicle, and then you can charge your portable power station with the alternator on the vehicle. So it gives you a lot of different options to be able to charge. So if you like what we had to say about this, don't forget to check the link in the description below for a discount code so that you can get one of your own. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And as always, we can't wait to meet you out there.